actually used to Parental, but God, even if this is not your will,
Just let me have it. Yes.
Welcome to Young and Adventist.
Welcome to Young and Adventist.
Welcome to Young and Adventist.
Hello and welcome to Young and Adventist. We are so glad to have you here today. My name is Wawuda and I'm going to be the host for this episode. And before we get into it, I will let my panelists introduce themselves, starting from my left.
Hi guys, my name is Faith Moyiwaiwa.
Hi, it's Melvin again, Basibuaji.
Hi guys, it's Tanya, and we're super excited to be here talking about Hello Sweetie.
Wow. So today we're going to be doing the girls' version of dating. I know the last episode was why SDA men aren't dating. This episode is just dating because sometimes we're good at dates. So we're going to be diving into that. Clock it. We're going to be diving into that topic. And to start us off, I'm going to just set the waters a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever dated? Or are you currently dating? And if you're currently dating, what haven't you said?
That's such silent cricket.
Come on.
Okay, yeah, I have dated, but I'm not currently dating.
Okay.
I have dated. On whether I'm currently dating, I invoke my right to remain silent.
Oh,
Hey,
Wakili.
sorry.
I have dated. I'm not in a relationship currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why aren't you in relationships?
Let's get deep, guys. Welcome.
Immediately, let's get into it.
Immediately. Personally, I am not dating because I don't think I'm at the level I want to be yet to be with the kind of man I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I have the emotional bandwidth, the spiritual, financial, mental bandwidth to be in a relationship currently. And that's why I've just put it on hold.
You say with the kind of man that you want.
Yes.
What does that look like? And when you describe him,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that he exists?
Oh, yes, he does exist. It's somewhere that's just that God is delaying our love story. Wait.
Yeah.
But first of all, for me, I want a husband. Let's just, in bold, italicized words. So the kind of man, and before I describe that person, if you're watching this, Habibi.
She's here.
I'm here.
She's here.
But anyway, before I describe him, I think something I need to mention is, I think as women, when we talk about relationships, we only base it on our preferences and not our standards. And so I think it's time we stop dating preferences and start dating standards. And what I mean by that,
I'm sorry, did you guys hear that? Hey, you may not have had all that. Because, yeah.
stop dating your preferences,
Uh-huh.
start dating your standards. Because most of the time, we've reduced relationships, or rather your partner, to look a certain way. He should be 6 foot, with a 6-pack, earning 6 figures.
Finance.
And it's just that. But then you find that this type of people, some of them just end up taking you through the gutters. And that's why we end up saying the bar is non-existent, because we date from a point of preferences and not standards. The standard should be, I want a man of God who actually knows and loves God, not a man who just goes to church. Because that's very different. Church is a hospital, guys. So everyone is there. There's a distinction. You want a man who earns well, but the point is he should have some sort of stability, not just 6 figures, and then he doesn't know how to manage that. He has poor stewardship skills, So for me, my kind of man, a man of God.
Anyway,
He loves me, and he loves the feeling of being in love with me.
Oh, wait. That's actually tea, because he loves the feeling of being in love with her.
Yeah.
Wow. Next.
But I think just from what Faith said, preferences and standards. But also for me, I want a partner. It's like, of course, God fearing, but I want a partner. To the extent that, because the people that look good together, we are like, oh, this is a power couple, but behind the scenes, they're not partners. We can't have conversations. There's abuse, physical, emotional. So for me, I want a partner. at the end of the day, someone I can sit with. I keep saying I want a kind partner. That's for me is a very important thing. A kind partner. Of course, God fearing tops the list, but a kind partner, someone that, because kindness is a very important thing. Even when you're angry, if you're kind, there's a way that you express the anger that shows that you're kind, that you're kind. So kindness, but I want a partner, someone you can sit down and have conversation with, because I feel like there are certain things that if you're partners, they become a bit easier to navigate if you're partners. Yes.
I think, what was the question? The question was, why aren't you dating, right? Yeah. Why aren't I dating? Or let's see, I think most people are the same.
Sorry, on that, also, why aren't you dating and what are you looking for? No,
Okay.
when you look.
Yeah. Okay, so why I'm not dating, the same thing as Faith is, I don't feel ready yet. I feel, how would I put it? One, I want a husband for sure, not the mchezo. You know, last week Bradley asked, do we have to go through heartbreak after heartbreak, see so many people until you meet the one? I really don't believe that's the case. I think the best thing you can do is seek God and find yourself, find your purpose, and then someone will find favor in you. You know, as women, we can't chase. Like, we're not really in control of how our love life plays out. So for me, I'm in a place where I'm not yet who I want to be. So even the people I am pulling are not people I want. And so I think there's that need for growth. There's that need to continue finding who I am as a woman in God. And eventually I'll meet my person. So again, a man of God for sure for me. Yeah.
I have a question. Tanya brought something very interesting, that as women, it's not our duty to chase. Now, when we have conversations, someone says, oh, sijui, dropping the proverbial handkerchief, like, you're not chasing, but you're dropping. What are feelings? You're dropping hints, you're dropping. What's our feeling about dropping handkerchiefs, for lack of a better word?
Okay. Can I go?
Yeah.
First of all, I feel like let's deconstruct the chasing bit. I have a big problem with that term because I feel like when you say you're chasing a relationship or you're chasing somebody, and I brought it up with the men's episode, I feel like when you chase, it's out of a point of scarcity. It's like, Melvin is the only one. I must get her. And you know, sometimes
I am though.
yeah, curious. Hot cake. Yeah. Cut that.
Don't get that.
Anyway, you see, if you chase somebody, they won't come to you because you'll throw your all to them, but maybe they don't just feel the same way about you. In contrast to pursuing them, you know, when you're pursuing, it's like aligned action, but there's also some patience that you're like, I will be intentionally pursuing Tanya. But in case things don't work out, I'm not attached to the negative outcome. And so it won't be, you know, something damaging to our relationship or friendship. To be like, okay, I'm in Kata, I'll just take my L and walk away. You know, and same, I think that now speaks to the men. But for us ladies, I think it's allowing ourselves to be pursued as well, and also not leading someone on. You know, if you don't feel the guy, as much as he's handsome and he's doing everything right, but he's just not for you, don't lead them on. Just tell them, you know. Anyway, so now on the dropping the proverbial handkerchief, personally, I stand for being straightforward, yes. Thank you. With if I like you, I'll just tell you, yeah, I actually like you.
If he hasn't told you,
if he hasn't told me,
Ujitole.
no. Hey, I need to have seen some signs. No, I just don't put my heart on the plate. I need to have seen some signs because I feel like men are just, it's easy to know. No, it's
okay. No, they're oblivious when it's like, I like you. They don't really see it.
Oh yeah, they don't.
But then
really
when
see
it's
yes.
but then you can, you
But
can see them
know.
liking you.
Yes, exactly. And if I like them, I'm like, okay, yeah, let me just drop some signs on this guy. I actually like you.
What are your signs?
What do you ask him for the money?
My bad.
So we had a tent.
It's okay, we'll have that conversation later. Okay, so what was your question again?
Do you believe in dropping the handkerchief, dropping the
And how do you drop it?
I feel like there are two sides. If I know a guy likes me, but I don't like him, I will pick up the handkerchief and throw it at the person. Especially like if he's my friend, so that I don't have to directly tell him I don't like you. Because with my friends, obviously they're my friends, so I'm gonna be friendly with you. Sometimes you can take that in the wrong way. So I have to make sure I'm like, such a nice friend.
I'm thankful for the friendship that you share.
Happy friendship, And it's not coming out of a place of like spite or anything like that. It's just genuinely like I don't want us to have to get to the point where I'm like, I have to say no to you, because that also kind of messes things up. In terms of would I drop the handkerchief and like how I go about that? Yes, I drop the handkerchief. I drop it softly, but then it's more of like I will give you the opportunity to come to me. It's like I know what you should do, you don't know what you should do, so I will tell you what you should do, but without telling you. Does that make sense? It makes sense. But I'm not gonna say like this. I'm not gonna say what it is. If you know, you will know. If you don't know, then that just means the big deal. So yeah.
The whole dropping the handkerchief thing, and I'm realizing I don't drop handkerchiefs.
They just come to you and you're just like, okay.
Yeah, like I'm those people who I think you have to be very like outright with me. If you don't say it with your chest, then how will I? And if I can see that, okay, so and so favors me, they really like being in my space, they're a bit a certain type. What I'm talking about, you can tell someone likes you. Maybe it's I don't think, okay, I'm a shy girl. In the same breath, I don't know. As a man, you should be able to say it. I feel like men should be able to like say,
just say like,
who was it? Ruth and Boaz. Boaz didn't go at hanging around Ruth.
Just making it happen.
And then being sweet to Ruth. He was really straightforward about what he intended. That he intended to restore her and take care of her. So I feel like men should be direct. What I hear from my parents, even my mom, is like, your dad pursued me. Like, your dad wasn't actually too minded about what he wanted with me. When he met me, we spoke. The next time we spoke, he said what he wanted. As much as I was running away and, trying to like tell him no, he was very persistent. He wasn't unclear about what he wanted. So the whole dropping a handkerchief, I don't believe in it.
Okay.
On if I have dropped too many handkerchiefs, but I think I'm very blunt. I will ask, or I will have that conversation.
You'll ask me directly, like, do you like me?
Yeah. Or I will seriously, I will, because I've realized that sometimes, I don't know, dropping the handkerchief is good, but I sometimes don't like to be in this state where I'm waiting for, or because when I drop the handkerchief, I'm waiting on this person to either pick it up so that I know where their mind is at. And that puts me in a state of sometimes. So sometimes I'm very blunt. Sometimes it's come off very terrible, but I'm learning.
No, but I think it's a really good thing to just be blunt because right there, like either it's this or it's not this. Because dropping the handkerchief also includes like, that whole thing that you're talking about, you think it's gonna pick up, it's just and then it takes such a long time to pick it up. And when finally picks it up, even over it. So I think it's good to be blunt, so I should just get out of the way completely. So I agree with you. I have a question. I have 2 questions, but I forgot the first one. But I have a question, Tanya. You said about your parents, like your dad was very like, you are going to get you in, pursue your mom. I hear a lot of these stories where it's like and I've heard from married couples where it's that when the woman was like refusing, then the man kept pursuing. These are the couples that are married now. So I'm always like, oh, okay. So does that mean that, I don't know, like
they should be persistent if they say trend.
Like how is it that it's just like I pursue and pursue? Like where is the line between I'm gonna pursue until forever happens and like it's just I don't want you?
I think you read my mind.
Is this a thing of a different generation? I don't know.
I think you read my mind because I was also thinking about the same thing. But I feel like maybe as we also progress, and particularly maybe the kind of circumstances and cultures and the dynamics that were there during the time of our parents are a bit different from the dynamics within which we are in now. I think that probably at this point in time when someone says no, let them go. I think it's only respectful. If I say no to you and you keep pursuing me, we're going to see each other in court. I I think it's because we are also getting to a point where, in the wake of so many, because sometimes there can be an obsession with, I have to get you. That can be a bit scary. So I think, I know if I like you, right? If I'm saying no, it's just no. You pack your bags, say, I tried, it didn't work out, good. Then you go and try something else. Because I feel like when we create that room for persistence, at least in our generation or with the way we are doing things now, it seems to override your decision and your ability to say no, which also means that as women, we say no and we mean no. Currently, if I'm telling you no, it's literally, it's not that you're playing hard to get, as people would say it, it's just no. There we go. I'm at Kutani.
Yeah. Do you guys play hard to get?
I don't think so.
No?
I think you're only hard to get when you don't want the person.
Right.
Like, I don't, at least what I've noted, like every time I've, like, okay, there's a time my friends and I were talking about how a lot of guys have the same, would I call them lines, like mistakes or things they say.
Yeah.
The only thing that differentiates it is who do you want to hear it from, you know. So it's not about being hard to get, but I think it's also important to be a bit hard to get in the sense of, again, like you said, standards and values. Like you should have a standard which someone should meet in order to be that close to you. Because when you let someone that close to you, they have a lot of influence over the way you see things, over the way you do things, especially if you're thinking about marriage, you know. At some point, this is someone who will lead your home, who will be a father to your kids, you know. This is gonna be someone you're with every single day of your life. So you have to be very intentional about vetting that character. And I think that's where the, not really hard to get, but slow it down. You know, someone said, men determine the direction, women determine the speed. Yeah. So, so it's like, I'd say it's not hard to get, it's more of, give him that room to prove himself to you. Let him show you the kind of man he is, you know, so that you don't attach to the wrong person. So maybe in that dropping the handkerchief sense, if you mean like dropping the handkerchief in that he's pursued and then you want to show him, okay, this is my green light, you can keep going, keep showing me who you are, but don't actually green light and then you're also running towards him.
Calm down.
Let him show him who he is. Also, like, that's the reason for standards, is you have to have like a benchmark against which you're grading him. You're like, okay, is this kind of person, I don't like this, I don't like that. See what's negotiable and what's non-negotiable. And yeah, from there, I think that's fair. That's much fairer than the playing hard to get, like a pretend game. You know, there's people who are like overtly mean to men. And I'm like, is that really how we're supposed to be doing it? I get the whole, sometimes people can do wrong by you, but why would you be overtly mean to someone who's trying to at least show you whether or not they are going to do right for you? I'd prefer for someone to show me they're a bad person than for me to immediately assume it.
Wow.
Sweet. Wow. And on that wisdom, actually, I want to ask you guys, did you guys ever have conversations about like relationships and dating with your parents or in church? I know we had like ambassadors, camp meetings, all that kind of stuff. Do you guys talk about relationships, and within that, what do you guys learn? Or is there something that you learned then that you're changing now as you're older?
I talk about my parents because I think the conversation about relationships, we always somehow end up talking about it in church setups. Even yesterday, we end up talking about a lot of these things. Maybe we'll share with Melvin. For my parents, when we had that discussion, or when we have these discussions, first of all, my father told me I am the prize. Period. And at that time, by the time he's saying this, I'd gone through it. You were like, now you're telling me. Now you're telling me. Right now. But one thing he made me understand is love can become very performative in today's generation if we don't have a solid base. That is, if we're not grounded in God, if we weren't even friends to begin with, then I'll just be displaying a certain character for this man. And then slowly, I'll start getting worn out of playing the same, good girl, church church. Yeah, and I'll get tired of that because I'm not showing them the real me. And so my dad told me, if you want a quality man, then the way he pursues you will actually tell you if he is a quality man. You know, it will show you, like just the Tanya is saying, like it will show you the standards that you have. He's actually willing to meet and even exceed them. But then you have to not rush into it, because if you have this, you know, as a young person, there's this excitement that you have to date and just be seen that you have a man next to you. But then sometimes that rush, we end up, ignoring all the red flags along the way, ignoring all the important things we should have talked about before we even decided to get into a relationship. And so that's something I'm now calling for. And even because I want to be pursued, I'm not chasing a man. I want to be intentionally. Yeah,
honestly.
Exactly. Intentionally pursued. And so with that, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to rush this. It will come. Even if it hasn't, it will come. It will take its time. But I'm willing to wait for a quality relationship if it means I'm getting the best, rather than just choosing and handpicking the man for myself, and then 2 years later I'm down there crying. Yeah.
Back on the kitchen floor.
Imagine.
The conversation with my parents, it said, I think the first time I heard, or part of I was going through character development, and I think it broke me so much that my mother said, like, unajua, this, it's not do or die, like you can't allow yourself to lose yourself because of this thing. But I think I've had those conversations with my parents. I think my mother insists on also just building yourself first. That's not to say that you need to get at perfection now, but you cannot morph your identity into the person that into the person that you're waiting to pursue you. You need to have an identity and be someone outside this. My mother tells me she's even financially, emotionally, and all that, because my mother does her own stuff. She built herself. She wasn't just, my father's wife, for lack of a better word. In church, I had a conversation in church when I was going through character development again. But I feel like Karengata has really done a good job with having these conversations. Now, I remember this is our current youth speaker. I've forgotten her name.
Diana.
Yeah, Diana. Dr. Diana. But I feel like she has a very practical and hands-on approach to how relationships work. Because I remember the last time we talked to at Nature Sabbath, and I was talking about my character development, and she talked about her own character development and how she felt during that time and how she feels now, who she's married now, and how she's happy. And I feel like that very realistic point of view and that practical point of view, it's easier to relate as opposed to this perfection of, oh, you're going to get, I got the right man, I'm happy, I'm perfect. You know, that where we sit down, we have conversations about the mistakes that people make, what people did right, what people did wrong, and how we can learn from their experiences, which I think is a very good approach. Join us, Karengata Camp meeting. We're going to be having these conversations.
This week.
This week.
Camp meeting.
Indeed, this week.
Yeah, we'll be having camp meeting. I think I've had a lot of conversations with my parents about relationships, but one thing, especially my dad, mentions all the time is, as a woman, enter a relationship on your terms. Like, ensure, like, it's an extension of what you're saying in terms of your financial, not that you need to be a billionaire, but have some sort of independence and stability that you built for yourself. Have some clarity on what your emotional needs are as a person. You know, we all have different experiences. There's things we all need a bit more than others. So understand what your emotional needs are. Understanding yourself as a woman of God obviously is very important, because I think what my folks constantly try to do for me is tell me, yes, love is a beautiful thing, and when you do meet your person, that's incredible, but you have to be grounded in the fact that it can be hard. Not that marriage itself is difficult, but life is difficult, right? And you're choosing to do life with a person. So don't, again, go for the performance of that dating phase where you two are these amazing, incredible people. It's always roses and sunshine, you know, it's not like that in real life. So always being in a place where if things hit the fan, as a woman you can be, you know, not to say men are bad people, because there's also bad women out there, but you don't know if the person you're with will switch up downstream because of given circumstances. Maybe right now when you're starting out, you guys are financially okay, and then who knows, maybe 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the line, something happens and a different side of their character, which you had never seen because they'd never been in a situation that would reveal this side of their character, comes out. And if it is bad enough, you might have to actually up and leave. Are you in the position to do that? Financially, emotionally, mentally, are you in the position to do that? Are you grounded enough in yourself? I know that the thing is, we want to marry well and marry once, but you also have to be awake to the reality of not everything works out, and not just in marriage. It's a mindset you have from even now when you're dating, courting, is if things go too far outside of your value systems and your standards, are you in the position as a woman to exit and exit in a dignified way because you established yourself first? Yeah.
Which reminds me about a conversation I was having with Faith of, especially in the Christian, we talk about dating for marriage. And I was telling her how the dating for marriage, I misunderstood the dating for marriage concept so much that I had to reinvent what that means. So in my first relationship, I was like, this is going to be my man. And I really fought for the relationship so hard because I was like, this is going to be my husband. I fought for it to the extent that it wasn't working now. But because in my head, I had already established that this is going to be the person that I end up with, I fought for it. And how we were having that conversation is saying, is this relationship working now? Yes, we're dating for marriage and our goal is to end up in marriage, but how practical is this relationship now? Is this person a kind person? If this person is probably revealing certain aspects of who they are right now, because if I'm dating right now, I need to have contextualized in my head that this is the person he's going to be when we get married. Then he'll change, I'll change him. It's a very shady concept, right? And he'll change. So am I comfortable enough with him as he is right now to continue with the relationship? Is this relationship a home for me? Is this relationship a comfortable space for me? So that then it can lead to marriage. Because sometimes when we fixate on marriage, we ignore the fact that there are so many red flags, there are so many problems in our relationship as is. And we want to, I'm going to end up with this person. So sometimes it's okay to just walk away. I thought this would be my person, and I had to walk away. And I'm thanking God that the person I thought would be my husband is not my husband. I would have suffered.
I think what you guys are saying is very important. And maybe just to add to the discussion, we need to also learn how to decenter men, not from a point of toxicity or we hate men. No, we actually love these guys. But when we say that, it's a point of you need to learn the fine dance between detachment and actually, connection and craving that connection. Because as much as you're saying, yes, let's not date to marry and everything, we also want to end up married. But then what you're saying here is, let us have that space where it's comfortable for us to exit when things don't work out. Absolutely. Like we're okay with that. And you see, with the detachment, I think Alan talked about it in the first episode. So if you've not watched that, I've paused, go back, and we're back. So in the detachment theory, he talked about the way if you have a flower, you want to nurture it, right? And so you'll do everything to take care of it and let it grow. And so for us, when it comes to relationships and men, it should be, yes, I crave to connect with this person, but then I'm not going to force, I'm not going to chase, I'm not going to, if it doesn't work out, then it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
I can learn how to move away from that and have the respect for myself, but also still have compassion so that I don't grow indifferent to them. Because it's very easy to realize, you don't like me like that? Actually, you're not all that, And you start hating on the man, and slowly a negative image begins to form, and that image is what you project out there when you talk about men. And so it becomes this bitter, spiteful kind of person that's speaking out of heart. And so I think that's also very important to the conversation. As much as we're saying, yes, date to marry, yes, be rational about it. This is not working, so what am I doing from there? I'm comfortable saying, okay, we had a good run, let me just walk out. But with respect, you don't have to go tearing down the man's name. Like, that's okay.
Yeah. And actually, I think that a lot of times, as women, we have, okay, everyone is different, but there's sometimes when we say, like, maybe a relationship has gone sour, or it's gone bad, you guys have ended things, and then you go into this phase where you're like, I hate men. All men are bad. No. I need to decenter myself from men. It's me and my girls. Yet your number one topic of conversation will always be men. Every time you go somewhere, I hate men. You know what men do? No. So there's a certain, you need to decentralize yourself so very much, such that you're not thinking about men like that. You're just like, oh, there's a man there. Okay, fine, cool. But it's not such like, even you're dressing, you're like, is my hair okay? Not because I want him, but I just want him to, like, everything like that. So I think we really need, as women, to just focus on, it's just you and you. It's not every time it's, oh, the man did this, oh, the man did that, oh, I hate men, I feel like that's a very important aspect that we need to bring up, especially when we're talking about relationships. Do you guys think that we talk about relationships
Too much.
Because I've heard in church, especially in the youth group, a lot of times, and this is no fault, this is just a question, because a lot of times when we're having conversations, maybe it's in the afternoon, or even during camp meeting or week-long things, whatever, there will always be something about relationships. Even when, I can't remember which topic we're having some time back, it was not about relationships, it was in church. And then we ended up talking about relationships. It's like we always circle back to it. And I was like, why do we always circle back to relationships even when we're not talking about relationships? Do you guys think that it's a topic that we've glorified?
Glorify. I don't think we talk about relationships enough. I'm going to sound very contradictory. But I think we talk about relationships a lot, but we don't talk about relationships enough. To the extent that we talk about certain aspects of relationships that are very pleasurable and funny and entertaining, but we don't talk about some of the very hard and very important aspects of what relationships are. Yesterday, some friends and I were talking about attachment styles. Are those conversations we're having? Do we talk about like heartbreak and healing, and maybe taking accountability for our parts in heartbreak and how we are going to heal from this? Because part of having conversations about relationships is also about how are you preparing yourself for a relationship. For example, empowering yourself. What are you doing to make sure that you number one, you are independent, but you can also be a good partner in a relationship. So I feel like, yes, we do talk about relationships. Hey, we do talk about
It's okay.
Hey, we do talk about relationships quite a bit, but we talk about the aspects of relationships that are funny, that are entertaining. We don't go into the gist of the different dynamics that make up relationships. What is my thoughts about that? I think we need to break down how we talk about relationships. So outside, just because relationships are very vital in the lives of young people. Like, those are things we can't ignore 100%. But I think we also need to get a very real approach to it, and we need to stop focusing on no, don't do this, and do the other, and sit down and have conversation about, okay, so you got hurt. How are you healing from that? Do you feel like you've healed from the hurt that this relationship, which I think is something that we have a conversation about, enough to be able to engage someone? Have you been leading people on in church? How it's getting deep.
I'm sorry. If I have, I'm sorry. I don't like anybody.
But yeah, so we talk about it quite a lot, but I think we focus on some of the issues that are very fun and entertaining, and we've not gotten into the real hard stuff. So we do talk about it quite a bit, but then again, we're also not talking about it enough. That's a confusing answer, but I hope it makes sense.
No, but it does make sense. Really, we're just talking about the wrong things within relationships, not the right things. Yeah.
I think relationships, like you're saying, we don't talk about them enough. I don't think there's ever going to be enough talking about relationships. Like, as people, we're communal beings. We need one another. We need relationships, whether that's friendships, romantic relationships, familial relationships. We need people. It's how God designed us. There was this quote I once saw that we were made by a loving God out of love to love and be loved. So it's instinct. Like, we desire to love others, and we also desire to be loved. And the greatest commandment of all is to love. Yeah, what is it? Love your
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, soul, and with all your
And they had my
love
soul.
your neighbor
Love your
as you
the
love
Lord
yourself.
with everything.
yeah. So
My
you love your
friend.
neighbor as you love yourself. Like you were designed to love, were meant to love,
Yeah.
and I think that's why people constantly go back to the topic because we're trying to figure out how to do it right or how to access this thing that's so innately part of who we are. But again, the quality of the discussions is what needs to be invented, like you're saying. Are we always having these conversations from a perspective of what I prefer, what's your type, what's this, what's that? You know, that's usually what we talk about, or we'll talk about it from, like you're saying, oh, men are doing this, men are doing that. Maybe, I don't know if men sit down and go, women are doing this, women are doing that. But I think we also need to not only talk about the healing, but also going back to the basics. How does God define relationships? You know, we have so many beautiful examples throughout the word of what an ideal relationship would be like, whether that's Christ's relationship with the church, whether it's people who were married in the Bible, whether it's friends even. We see so many beautiful friendships throughout the word. So I think relationships, once you have the basics, the God-given basics down, I think it translates across all relationships, you know. So the relationship conversation is maybe overdone in terms of poor quality discussions are being overdone. We need to go deeper and increase the, you know,
Into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Faith, I have a question for you. What's your favorite story of love from the Bible? It doesn't have to be romantic love.
Oh,
No, it is.
indeed. How? My favorite story about love that have to be romantic.
It doesn't have to be romantic.
David and Jonathan.
Amesema yangu.
Start thinking about it.
I feel like that is the perfect demonstration of the kind of love that God intends for humanity. You know, sacrificial, unconditional, one that just puts self before anybody. Sorry, puts the other one before self. Yeah. And I admire that. I think that's what we should strive to make our relationships into. It's you before me. It's us against the problem. It's not us attacking each other. It's not, oh, you think you're better than me?
Let me show you.
Let me show you. It's out of humility, out of servitude. Yeah. David and Jonathan.
It's a good one.
Amesema yangu. So I'm just going to say it and say what I think.
Yeah.
But I think Faith has really brought it in the way that I think about it. And even love so much so that Jonathan, you know, was informed this is going to be king. There wasn't that jealousy or rivalry or hate. That love that, if I see Faith win, I'm not, even as a friend, even as a partner, when I see my partner win, I'm not like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna shield that.
Yeah.
But I'm also thinking about the definition of love. Love is kind, love is patient.
1 Corinthians chapter 13.
Yes. And when we sit down to actually break down those attributes that love is given, can we be able to tick them off in our relationships? That's sometimes what I think to myself. But yeah.
I've seen someone say, or that perspective, that says when you read that 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and you put this person's name in the place of love. So for example, if it's like Tanya is kind, Tanya is patient, can you say all those things with their name in it and it makes sense and that's actually who they are? And that's, you know, like, do they really love you? Check on that. Tanya, what's your favorite story?
Favorite love story. I'm going to be very cliche. I'm going to talk about Jesus.
That's the best love story.
That is the best love story. Like you said, the whole sacrificial element of love, I think there was a sermon once where the pastor was talking about, it's not like we shouldn't be asking to be loved. If everyone was doing their mandate and loving their neighbor as much as they love themselves, then you wouldn't have to ask. He was giving an example of intercession. I won't even go into that. But if we all put in the work to love others, and what does it mean to love others? It means not just doing the kind acts and being patient and kind and all of those. Well, yes, those are very important, but I think we're all flawed. You know, when you're saying put someone's name before 1 Corinthians chapter 13. It's not that we expect this perfect person who is always, always patient. Sometimes things will make you impatient. It's to say that we want someone who is constantly working towards embodying those traits, right? And so I think a very big element of love involves also becoming the kind of person who is loving. And when I think of the kind of person I want to be, who is a perfect, embodiment of love in the flesh, it was Jesus. Jesus showed how to handle every single situation. The way he carried himself was a testament to how much he loved everyone. Like, even when there's a time I was dealing with a friendship that was a bit too much, and I wanted to set boundaries, right? And so I went on a blog and I found the story of Jesus preaching. Just before, there's this bit where there's a storm and the disciples are panicking, and then Jesus comes to them and calms the storm, right? So before that, did Jesus come to them? No, there's the one where he's sleeping in a boat. He gets asleep in the boat, rather. This time he's asleep in the boat, and then he wakes up and asks them, like, why are you guys panicking? Like, relax. But before he went to sleep in the boat, he was preaching, right, to the people on the mount. And at some point, he had to stop his sermon and tell them, I'm tired, I need to go rest. And the highlight of that sermon was that, or rather that blog post was that even Jesus knew how to set boundaries. And if you look throughout the world, there's so many places where Jesus shows us how to handle ourselves in a way that embodies love for others. And so the greatest love story for me would be Jesus Christ, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Send the link.
I will send the link.
You can send.
I will send it.
You can send.
Woody, I'm also thinking, maybe from what Tanya said, another conversation we were having is sometimes we set boxes for other people not to expect in a partner. But do we embody some of those qualities? For example, if I'm saying I want a kind partner, am I a kind person? If I'm saying I want a loyal partner, am I a loyal partner? If I say I want a God-fearing man, am I a God-fearing woman? Am I the God fears me? So basically, with wanting good partners, we also need to be very deliberate about being good partners by embodying those qualities that we want in other people. But I'm also thinking to ourselves, we've said we've been in relationships. If to the extent that we're comfortable explaining maybe some of the lessons we picked from some of those relationships.
Woody had
the
question they asked me.
So let me answer this kind of question. My favorite love story, or one of my favorite love stories, is Ruth and Naomi. I don't know if it's because I just really love my mom. If you're watching this, I love you. I am single. Okay. So I love Ruth and Naomi because Ruth literally just said, I'm going to drop everything and I'm just going to follow you. And for me, that's something that I would do with my mom. At any given point in time, yes, I will drop everything and I will follow you. And that's such a great show of love because I believe in very sacrificial kind of love. That for me is the greatest show of love. Someone who can say, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be and this is what I'm supposed to be, but you need me more, let me be here. Or because it's something that I know that I would do for the person that I love. So that for me, it's like to just leave your country, to leave your everything, your husband is gone, like just to leave everything and say, I will follow you. That was a great show of love for me. And so that's one of my favorite stories. It's not to make a man cry. Anyway, so I want us to start closing this session. But as we close, I want to just ask you guys if you have any little pieces of advice. We are not relationship experts, we're just young girls, just learning as we go. We are taking the experiences so that you don't have to. Okay, so just if you have any small pieces of advice for anyone who is younger, who is watching this and maybe is about to get into a relationship or is thinking about it or is thinking about anything like that, just a small piece of advice that you would give to them.
Or is in a relationship.
Just a small piece of advice. Tanya.
Okay, let's see. Based on life experience and stories, I'd say don't attach your worth to the outcome of your relationships. If things don't go well, or even if they do go well, don't let the validation of things that are going well define you and make you feel like because this is going well, then I must be doing well. Because if that's how you're finding your basically external validation shouldn't be your benchmark. And sometimes I know when we say external validation, people think it's someone coming and saying, oh, you're pretty, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. It's not always that. Sometimes we attach our worth to the success of our relationships. And when the relationship goes down, if it does, it will go with your worth. And even in the dating phase, because we're young women right now, okay, for those who are getting married, congrats. But most of us are getting to know people and are dating, like we said, that thing of detachment, that you can desire connection, but you also have to be healthily detached. And I think the most important thing to detach from your relationships is your worth. You are always worthy. You are loved. You are deserving of love. Even if the current situation you're in or a situation you end up in doesn't display that, it does not change your value and your worth in terms of love. So yeah, that's my piece of advice to every young woman out there.
That's beautiful. That's how it.
Yeah, I'm also taking that. Thank you.
Taking notes. I think mine would be to try, not to try, but involve God in your relationships. It's still something I'm struggling with because most often than not, I'm like, God, I want to pass, handle this for me. But in my relationship, I'm like, I'm the expert. Let me take a seat.
Yeah,
You know, let me deal with
this.
this.
Is the man. If you will be
And in that, I actually used to pray and tell God, even if this is not your will,
just let me have it.
I cringe at the thought of such prayers, but I think because of how vulnerable it felt, and I think, God loves us, and what He gives us with love. Tanya gave us a beautiful quote about God being loving. He created love for us to love and be loved. So I think in pursuing relationships, in being in relationships, pray to God, involve Him, and be honest and vulnerable about how you feel. Tell God, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Help me, give me direction. Help me. If this is the relationship for me, then help it become a good relationship and a relationship that glorifies you. If it's not the relationship that you intend for me to have, then get me out of it. It's a difficult prayer. It's someone. I think I've seen the memes that when I tell God, if this is not the man, quickly, say less.
Out.
But it's very easy to say, but it's very difficult because sometimes you want to be in control. The ecstasy and the excitement of being in a relationship, you want to be in control. But what I'm learning, I'm still struggling with it. But as we need to involve God in our relationships, have Him take the lead in our relationships. Yes,
that's true. Yeah, it's not easy.
Wow. I think my advice to someone watching this is, first things first, love is a beautiful thing.
Don't get
Love is a beautiful thing. But you need to let the author of love write that story for you. Let him, because he's a perfecter of love. He knows what you require. And another thing, a relationship is not that complete. You're already complete, just as Tanya said. So you're already complete. So you're just there to reflect this love of God to each other and just enjoy life together. So if you're still in this dating phase and you're struggling with, am I with the right person? Or you're just questioning, I feel like the greatest person to ask that question is God. Just go and tell Him, I feel, about this person. Guide me, show me the direction you want me to take. And for sure, He will. And if you find yourself maybe in a relationship at this point in time, I think just as Melvin said, have God as a cornerstone. I think that's the most important factor in a relationship because things will come. Let me tell you, life comes fast. It doesn't stop. And in a relationship, I feel like so many things become amplified. So you need to have discovered, my conflict style is this. My attachment style, I thought I was secure, but I'm just, disorganized, right? Or, a lot of things become amplified in a relationship. And so you need God to really help you to navigate. So that's my advice for you people. Now, Penda.
I think for me, I would say, don't let that one good moment blind you from every other negative moment that's happened. Sometimes there's so many red flags around you, but yesterday he bought you flowers. So you're like, but he bought me flowers. I think everything's okay. but the whole week he's been talking to you so badly. But now because of this one tiny thing that he's done good, then you're ignoring everything else. Don't do that. Look at everything. I'd say start looking at it from a very, what's this thing called? No, like where you're not like into it emotionally. Objective. Subjective. Objective. Look at things objectively. I would say before you even get emotionally attached, because once you get emotionally attached, that's you're gone. You're gone. That's your for you. So look at things very objectively first. Look at who this man is. Analyze it. It's not much to analyze. Analyze it, and then get into it. Yeah. But still, look for advice from older people, from people who you know have tested and tried, and who are okay. And imagine if you're going through heartbreak, it will pass. I promise you, it will pass. Love, and hugs. You will be well. If anyone else has any pieces of advice that you want to give to anyone who's watching this, or even to us, we will take it. Please feel free to tell us down in the comments below. But for now, we will close this episode here, and I want to ask Faith to please pray for us and pray for all our people in their relationships or single.
All right, let's pray. Almighty and ever-living Father, we come before thy presence this lovely afternoon. Thank you, dear Lord, for the discussion that we have had. We ask, dear Lord, for your wisdom and for you to give us discernment as we check the relationship scene. Dear Lord, you are the author of love, and so we ask that you may perfect us in love. And dear Lord, for those who are probably watching this and going through some form of heartbreak, dear Lord, may you come to their rescue, give them your comfort and give them your strength. And dear Lord, show them and show us how good it gets. This I pray, trusting and believing in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.